Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Vlogmas Day 6. I am super excited. Happy to be here. So we are going to be, as you saw in the title, we're going to go ahead and do a declutter again. We're going to focus on powders. So we are going to do high-end and drugstore powders. And yeah, if you're excited about this look and this eye, oh yeah, that video is coming too. It's coming. It's going to be day 7. If you want to see how many powders I'm getting rid of, all there is to do is just keep on watching. All right, let's get started. So for the most part, you can see everything that's in frame. So these are all my drugstore powder, loose and pressed. We're going to kind of see what we can cut here from our collection and pass on. So starting off with the declutter is the Physicians Formula Butter Glow Pressed Powder. I don't know, I'm not a fan of this pressed powder. It looks more like a very natural highlighter. It's just a little too glowy for my liking. And I know it's like really hard to see, but like if you look at my finger, you see how glowy that looks? Like it's just, no, that's going to emphasize all my pores, all my texture. This one's the Laura Mercier, okay? And like, yes, this one has like a little bit of a glow too, but let me like kind of compare. So I don't know. Yes, there's a glow, but I just feel, and maybe it's the shade, I just feel like this looks more highlighty than the Laura Mercier one. This is the Laura Mercier. And again, you have a little bit of a glow, which is fine. But then you have the Physicians Formula. And I feel like this one just makes you look like you have a highlighter on. I don't know, can you see the difference? So I'm gonna go ahead and just pass this one on, and hopefully someone will be able to like it more. This powder from Milani, it's actually really, really good. It's Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Powder. This is actually really, really nice. I wish the shade, it says transparent. I feel like it does like darken your makeup a little bit, so I can't really use it under the eyes, but I can use it around my pores and on my face, and this one does do its job, so I really do like it. I get compliments a lot when I wear this powder, so I'm gonna keep it. I just wish the shade was a little bit different. I don't reach for this one as much, so I'm kind of debating if I want to keep it or not. It is the Make It Last setting powder. I maybe we'll keep, I don't know, we'll put it in a maybe pile. I know I tried it in the summertime and I still got some oil coming through, so we'll see. This one is really, really old. This one is the Age Perfect Creamy Powder Foundation. This one's in the shade, I don't even know what shade this one's in, but it's just really, really old, and I think I'm going to go ahead and pass it along. It is really nice. It feels really, really nice. I'm just not one to set my face with a powder foundation, and on its own I feel like it doesn't give enough coverage. I feel like when you use this on top of another foundation, then it just looks a little too heavy. So I'm gonna probably just not keep this. I mean, it does have a nice little dip in it. I don't know if you can tell, but there is a nice little dip in it. I was using it there for a while, but I think it's time for her to go because I don't reach for her. I don't. This is kind of very similar to these type of pressed powder. It's the High Glass Finishing Powder from NYX. This is something that they just don't have anymore. And same thing. I used to reach for it a lot. But then I was like, I feel like this is just emphasizing my texture. And you can see here, very similar to the Physicians Formula, how it looks more like a highlighter. Do you see that? Especially if I like build that up. Now, remind you, you're most likely using this with a brush. Let me get into camera here. Do you see how like, bam, that is? That might even be more intense than the Physician Formula one. Yeah. Like if I'm getting rid of the Physician Formula for that reason, that's a highlighter. So So yeah, I mean, it was really nice. I just don't know how this is a finishing powder. You know what I mean? Like a finishing powder, I think of when I want to like just blur a little bit, like maybe my blush, my bronzer, the harsh lines are there. So I will go in with a finishing powder that isn't as highly pigmented or as matte as maybe another powder. But this just gives me too much like highlighter vibes. So I'm going to go ahead and pass that along. Now, a powder that I really do like, that if you want to set your face, the foundation or skin tint is just not setting enough for you and you just need a little bit of a setting powder, but again, you don't want to look too heavy, you don't want to look too matte, this is great. And this reminds me of the Kosas. If you like the Kosas Cloud Set powder, I think you would like this drugstore version because it just allows you to set your face but not look dry, cakey, flat or anything. So I'm almost done with this and I don't think they make this anymore. I don't know, I could be wrong. This is the hashtag no filter finishing powder. So this is a finishing powder that I would use over this one. And I know it says high glass, but they came out with a highlighter too. So I guess the highlighter was more intense than that, but I'm gonna keep this one. This is another kind of version of that. So this is the Micro Smooth Multitasking Bake Face Powder from Sephora. This one is another one that's in that category where I feel like it's really, really nice. It's not so matte. It has like a nice like satin satinness to it. So if I had like a skin tint or a light sheer foundation and I just need to set it a little bit, I will reach for this one too. This one is from Maybelline. It's the Fit Me. This is just way too pigmented. It's not transparent. It's very pigmented. And it, you know, I wore it, I made it work. But now I have other powders that do what I was trying to get this to do. This is a bit newer. I got rid of it once before and I bought it again. So I need to stop buying it. If they had like more of a transparent version, I would probably get it as a drugstore option, but it's just way too pigmented. I'm gonna go ahead and pass this along too. This is from Juvia's Place. This is a powder foundation. I didn't have this for super long, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep this and continue to try to get some wear out of it. It feels so silky. The only thing is I don't know if I got the right shade or not. My hands are so dry, so it's kind of hard to give this product some justice. But yeah, I am not ready to discard this yet. We're gonna keep her. Speaking of powder foundation, this is another one. I'm not ready to get rid of this one yet either, even though I don't reach for it a whole lot. This is another one I feel feels so good. Maybe again, it's the shade. I'm gonna try to reach for these powder foundations a little bit more, but I'm gonna keep and see how often I reach for it. These Can't Stop Won't Stop powders, I hope they never ever get rid of these. These are also really good. I got the transparent one to use to set under my eyes and kind of just blur, you know, like my T-zone area, and then this one I use to set the rest of my face. This is going to, if you want to be matte but maybe you're having issues with other matte powders just drying you out and making you look a little bit too matte or flat, try this one. This one is so good. It's gonna make you, give you that matte look, but it's not still gonna make you look super flat. It's not gonna make you look dry and cakey. It's a really nice powder and it's really good at setting your makeup. So good. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep these two. Elf. This one is the Halo Glow Setting Powder in the shade Light. I am going to go ahead and keep this. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and keep this one. I don't know if I'll buy them again, but I do want to finish it. So I'm going to keep this one, and I'm going to keep this one as well. This one is in the shade Pink. So this one isn't super pink. It's not going to be like your Huda Beauty or One Size. It's not that pigmented. So if you are looking for a pink powder that you maybe couldn't have worn in the past, this one is really nice. It's also not mattifying, so it's not gonna, if you have really dry skin and maybe the Huda Beauty one or the One Size is just too mattifying for you, this one is nice. So keep. This one is another nice one as well. This one isn't, it's a little bit more pinker than the Elf, but it's not as intense as the higher end ones. This one is from Morphe, and this one is in their shade Brightening Pink as well. So I do enjoy this one as well. This is another newer powder. it's not drugstore, but it's also not high-end. It's an affordable powder. You just have to order it online. I don't know if there's a store that sells this, but it's not something you could like go to Target or Ulta for, but it's an affordable powder. So that's why I put it in this category. But it's the Kimchi Puff Puff Pass powder. It's a set and bake. I love it. It's so blurring. It's just so good. I love this. This is like a filter on your face, okay? And they have a pink version as well. But I got this through BoxyCharm, and it is so, so, so good. So keeping for sure. As far as drugstore, we are down to the last 3. This one, I think I maybe reached for like one time. I want to keep this in my purse. I keep forgetting to put it in my purse. And I think this, I don't know if they were trying to dupe the Makeup Forever. I'm not sure. But I don't know. It feels so, so good. I want to try it out, see how it is, but I feel like this will be like a great purse powder because it has like your little puffy, and it's all secure in there. Although I will say that this probably wouldn't be my summer shade, but I don't know. This one is in the shade Warm Sand 103. So the packaging is beautiful. I've had it for a while. It's probably expired, but I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep this one as well. This one's from Fit Me. I literally just bought it not so long ago. So this one is like the pressed powder version to this. So, but I like it actually better. This one is in 100 translucent. So I like it because it's more translucent and it's not as pigmented. It is brightening, but it's not as pigmented as the shade Fair, where it's going to leave like a super white cast on your face, and it's so hard to blend, like to get it blended away. So it's just too pigmented. So I'm going to keep the Fit Me press version instead, just, you know, to add some rarity in my collection when I'm filming videos. But the one that I am going to get rid of is from SheGlam as well. This is the Insta Ready Face and Under Eye Setting Powder. I was influenced to buy this. When this first came out, so many influencers were talking about it. And even their advertisement, like how they put a powder brush in this powder, they put it in water. And then when it came out, it was dry again. I don't know. It's so, so weird. This one is the translucent one. And yeah, I don't know. The powder doesn't feel as silky. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like anything I need. And then you do have like a loose powder at the bottom. It's a good product. I'm not saying like there's nothing to complain about it. I've used it. I feel like it's nice for natural makeup. It doesn't like mattify you out or anything. It's just a powder that I really do not reach for at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pass it along. Okay, so what we're keeping: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we're keeping 14 powders, and we're getting rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So to be honest, I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to do powders because I don't feel like I'm going to get rid of anything. Like I just felt it in my soul that I was going to keep every single powder. So even though this wasn't a great drugstore declutter, like I'm still keeping pretty many compared to what I'm getting rid of. But I like that I'm getting rid of something, okay? Even if it was one powder. So I'm getting rid of these 5. Once again, guys, this is where it's going to get a bit harder because you know me and my toxic high-end self here. Here are the high-end powder, guys. So we have 16 high-end powders all together without decluttering or keeping or anything like that. So we're keeping 14 drugstore powders. We have 16 high-end powders without even decluttering. So I had more drugstore powders than high-end. So we are starting out with a little bit of less. So just kind of keep it in mind as well. I don't know. I don't know why I felt that was important to mention, but it is. Let's start off with this powder because I am going to get rid of it. I've been trying so hard to reach for it and use it, but I don't want to use it anymore. I'm over it, okay? I'm over it. I'm bored of it. It's not enough to like wow me and like stay in my collection. This one's in the shade Oat, which is their translucent shade. It's the Beauty Bakery Flower Setting Powder. I don't know what's on here. I tried taking it off and it's pretty on there pretty well. So I don't know what that is. But anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of this one. I'm going to declutter this one from my collection. I just don't reach for it anymore. I was trying to use it up, but it's just not happening. I'm over it. I'm passing it on. This one I'm keeping, but I'm keeping to finish it up, and then it's going to be in an empties bin. I don't even know if we want to count this as one. Like, come on guys, look how much I hit pan on that powder. As soon as I finish this rim as much as I possibly can, which I only now been using this for my under eyes because obviously I can't put a brush in here and use it to set my whole face. It's gonna go in the empty bin soon. So do we even want to count this? Maybe, I guess, but I'm keeping it and I'm gonna finish it. This is not a thing anymore, which makes me so sad. It's from Huda Beauty. It's the Glowish powder. I really wish she did not get rid of this line. Hopefully she brings this back and just names it whatever she wants to name it. But this is such a great, this is like your, it's, I guess it's a pressed powder. How she advertised it and wore it was almost like a foundation powder, but I would say it's more like a skin tint powder. You know, it's not full coverage like a foundation powder, but it definitely gives you coverage a little bit, and it like evens out your skin, and it just looks so, so beautiful. So I'm so sad that you can't buy this anymore, but I am going to keep it and try to finish it up. Laura Mercier, 100% we're keeping. I actually just bought a more fuller size one of this. I've been kind of saving this and not using it as much because it's small and I didn't want to like use it up so quickly. I just bought a mini version, but I found a more fuller size version at TJ Maxx the other day. So I'm going to use this more often, but obviously I'm keeping, hello. This is so good. This is the pink version. This is ultra pink. This one's just translucent, but keeping. Sorry guys, I'm keeping, okay? LYS, this is the Sincere Pink shade. Look how pink this is. This is the pinkest powder I have ever used, okay? And it's so good. It's so blurring. I mean, if this is still not intense enough for you, there you go, okay? I think if you're super, super fair though, this is almost like a pink blush. So like it's gonna show up very pigmented. But yeah, I love it so much. So I am keeping. I am going to pass this along. Okay, I can't really say that I used it enough to know for sure if I like it or not. I used it one time and I did not like how it made my makeup look. But I have so many pink powders. I have the Huda Beauty, I have the One Size, I have the LYS, and then in the drugstore, I have Morphe, I have e.l.f. So like I have so many pink powders. From Danessa Matrix, it's the Pink Evolution powder. So I'm going to go ahead and just pass this along. Even if I would use it one more time and be like, yeah, it's a nice powder, I actually do like it, I still have too many. So while it's brand new, I'm going to pass it along and see if someone else wants to love it up. This is a Rare Beauty powder. And as much as I want to keep it, I don't like the shade. I don't like the shade of it. This is the shade Light Medium, and I should have got a different shade in this, and maybe I might go ahead and repurchase in the future a lighter shade. I did like the formula. I liked how it made my skin look. I just don't reach for it because I'm not a fan, again, of the shade. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this along, sadly, but I'm hoping that someone else will like it and get some use out of it. I think everything else is going to be just complete disappointment on your end. The Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder, I mean, come on, I'm not getting rid of this. Hopefully I can pan it and use it up though, because it's getting a bit older. But I really do like this, so we're going to keep. Jaclyn Hill is no more, sadly. I mean, Jaclyn Hill is still around, of course, but her cosmetic line is no more. So this one, I believe, is the light medium one. It's the Peach, Almond, Light Banana, and Caramel. God, I wish I could have came across another palette because I would have bought a backup. Okay, I love this. I love, okay, I haven't been reaching for it as much because, especially this shade here, I'm getting really close to hitting pan on. You probably can't tell. I don't know if you can tell or not. But yeah, I love it. Okay, in the summertime, I reach for these shades. In the wintertime, I reach for these shades. But I love this powder. It's blurring, it's brightening, it like blends your blush and your eye together. Like, it's so good. This was my go-to palette before the Huda Beauty one, before I tried that one. So this one's a bit newer, but this is the Kosas Cloud Set Powder. This one is the one that I told you that is very similar to the NYX. So if the NYX stops making this one, which I'm hoping they don't, I don't know. I don't even know if it's still a thing. And it's not even because they kind of look the same. I'm telling you, on the face, I don't know. I feel like you wouldn't be able to tell. And this one as well. Like, they are very, very close. This one's the Cloud Set. This one's the Sephora. And this one's the NYX. Do you see what I mean? Like, they're just so similar. So even if the NYX one is no more, I would recommend the Sephora as like your cheaper alternative. But the Cloud Set on its own is a really nice powder. I do like it. I do reach for it pretty often, even though it's pretty newer to my collection. So of course we're keeping her. The Laura Mercier is very similar to the Cloud Set, where it's like a lighter powder. It is going to give you some glow. So if you want your skin to look a little dewy, like you're hydrated and healthy, it's a nice powder. I would say it's very similar if you like the Hourglass pressed powders or finishing powders. Though it's very similar to that kind of category. So I do have like that as well, but it's in a palette with like a bronzer and blush. So I love this so much. So we're keeping that as well. Huda Beauty, hello. I just like guess we're keeping. Jaclyn Hill. These are called her Luminous Powder, and this is in the shade Do Me and Brighten Up. So I actually found this at TJ Maxx. This I bought right from her site when when her business was still active. I love these powders. I feel like I haven't been reaching for them enough because, again, in the summertime, I'm looking to be more matte. But now that it's winter again, I will go ahead and wear these. They're just so good. I love how it just makes your skin look good. Like, there are just times where I don't want to look set, like I want a little bit of glow, but I don't need a powder that's going to emphasize my texture and my pimples, my dry skin if I have it. But I feel like in the wintertime I'm looking dull, so I don't want to be super matte. So I want a powder that makes me look like I didn't set my foundation, but I really did set my foundation. You know what I mean? Because I just need to set most of the time. But I like the glow that I have. This leaves me have both, the best of both worlds. So I do like this. I'm going to keep it. I only use this one time. I don't know why. There's like just like powder spots on it, but it's kind of dried on there. This is the Fenty Beauty. Okay. I just recently opened this up not so long ago, and this is in the shade Butter. Now I will say that I like the smell of it. And I was really excited to use this powder, and I'm going to continue to give it a try, but it might end up in the declutter bin. Okay, I'm going to try it one more time, and if it ends up not working out, it's going to be decluttered and passed on. It really reminded me of the Fit Me, where it was just so pigmented that it was like once I set it down, it just wouldn't blend. I put it down, and then it was like I was using a big fluffy brush trying to blend it away, and the pigment just sat there and it would not blend. And I know that this was like a very well loved powder, so maybe the shade isn't right for me. I don't know. Butter, it's a very pigmented powder though, so I will give it a try again, but it might end up in the declutter pile. So for now, we're keeping, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is more of a maybe. This is empty, so in the way, it's like 11. And then what we're getting rid of is the Rare Beauty, the Flower, Beauty Bakery Flower, and the Danessa Matrix Beauty Powder. So we're only getting rid of 3 high ends for sure. And so I get that that's not as great and satisfying, but I love all these powders. All together, this is what everyone wants to see, what we're getting rid of. This is what we're getting rid of. Is it the greatest declutter of all time? No, but hopefully we'll get a little bit more crazy as time goes on. But we are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 powders less. I'm happy with that. All right, well, that's all I got for you for today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching. And yeah, until next time. Bye, guys.